So because we've got green in the avo, I'm thinking, why don't we go for a dark reddy brown background? So, and I just thought I want to save the shape of my avo. So these two lines are for the table. I felt like the first line was a little bit too high, so I dropped it a little bit. But I'm just going to go over the outlines. Okay, just so I can save that, because I actually want to go really dark. So in this corner, it is super dark. Whoops, my black is split in two. Might as well just go get it all quite dark. And then we can come over with lighter colors. But this corner, yeah, that is a really dark little corner. So I'm working on the Pastelmat paper. And the color here is the purple. I don't actually know if they even call it purple. But it's like a dark plummy sort of color. I think it might be called burgundy actually. Not sure. And I'm working very small, 15 centimeters by 16.5 centimeters. And it's part of this collection I'm doing for Gallery, where he just wanted quick little small paintings of like fruit and veggies. So this is dark 2 from Unison. Now let's see how this mixes in. It's a little bit here. I might decide to go a bit darker with some Terry Ludwig. Just wanted to see this. Oh, this is more browny and a bit more orangey. It's dark 4. Let's put a little bit of that in there. And then give this all a good rub into the paper. Now, because that first layer we put down is quite a hard pastel, it's not filling the tooth of the paper, so I'm feeling like I'm just having a little jig with that red. That's a RE6 from Unison. You see it's got a bit more red in. I just wanted to see what that would look like. But as I was saying, yeah, so I can feel that this background, because Unison don't fill the tooth of the paper too quickly, this needs a bit more pastel onto it before things start to get moving. So a little bit of grey 13. Now I'm taking that because it's like a very dark brown, or you could say a very dark browny black. So just putting a little bit of that in the corners there. Now I can start to feel that pastel is moving and mixing around nicely. Okay, so there is, now that grey 13 is very soft, so it will fill the tooth of the paper a lot quicker than the others. I'm just sort of seeing here, and I think I want to put a little bit of a brown. So I've taken a little bit of Terry Ludwig, and I'm just gonna dot a bit of that in there. Right, there's a line here, can you see that? I don't like that. This side looks fine, this side looks fine, but just over there I'm not liking that. Maybe I'll come in with a bit more red around here and bring that red up into there like that. And maybe a bit here too. And of course rubbing that in. Don't want any harsh lines in the background. Just want to have a look for a seckie because yeah, it's quite dark here, so I didn't want to go too much over because I want to make this, especially here, this vibrant greeny yellow so I wanted to keep it vibrant. I didn't really want to muddy it up with any colors. Even though I know Pastelmat takes lots of layers, sometimes I like to keep it free of color, especially because any reds will cancel out the greens. But yeah, okay, I'm hoping that will be okay. Again, I seem to have like too much of a line going on around there, and definitely don't want that. Everything's got to be seamless in your background, otherwise it's jarring, and lines will bring things forward, and you want the background to be set back. For now, I think that's okay. Let's start work on these. Let me try talking properly on this. So taking actually, you know what, no, I'm going to take this black because it's actually pretty dark. So let's see the shape here. Going again with just a black. This is a Conte. It isn't the blackest black I have, but I mean it's pretty dark down here. So let's go in. This is pastel now. This is a little bit of black from my shrapnel box. I have no idea what black this is. It's quite a nice dark black though, and it's going to be really dark around here. And when you get it really dark here, it's really going to help this greeny yellow to pop. So you just really want to get this nice and dark. Bearing in mind, again, if you had set up this little still life and it was directly in front of you, you would be able to see a lot more color inside this blackness here. Where in the photo reference it just looks pretty black. We are going to take some green and put some green in there too. But as always, we're just going to start out with our black. And then put some greens on top of that. Just give that a nice rub into the paper. Pretty dark all back here. So. Right. I will be coming back with some black, I think, at a later point. But for now, I'm happy with that. So as you can see, this is really small. If you look at it compared to my hand, yeah, really small. So we're not going to get, as much detail. But that's okay. I'm thinking this also. I'm taking a nice sharp edge. This is pretty dark along here. As well. and I'm being a little bit careful, not so much on the table side because that will be dark, but definitely where we've got this lovely yellowy green. Then let's take a little bit of 179 and just add a little bit of this. Now, Sennelier are generally much softer than Unison, so they will fill the tooth of the paper quite quickly. So that was a very light touch that I skimmed over the surface. I wasn't pressing hard when I laid down this 179 at all. It's amazing, you think this is such a dark green, but against the black, look how light it actually is. But I don't like this line's a little bit too liney, so I need to get rid of that. Just used a little bit more black, then we can come back in with a little bit more green. Okay. Now if you look at the Yavo, the screen is good for some parts, but we need a dark green with a little bit more yellow in. Let's see if this one's good. This is number 912, so I think this is a forest green. That's a good Avo green, isn't it? Yeah, that's a good evergreen, very good evergreen. This is by Sennelier, by the way. Oh, and I can feel this is a scratchy pigment in here. It's a lot scratchier than the others. Not that that really matters, I suppose you can hear it, I'm just giving you a little bit of information. I suppose doesn't really matter. Well, I suppose it doesn't fill the tooth of the paper as much, but yeah, I like this green for the Avo. I'm kind of scumbling it along. I don't really know why. I think because I can just see so much texture on this Avo. You know, it's got all those lumps and bumps on it, so I'm going to try to create those with black and some lighter tones, but I guess it helps if I'm sort of jiggling this around to start to build that texture. Okay, so this Avo's got a little bit too wonky there. I need to correct that. So I'll take my, oh, that's dark grey, don't want that. Just bring, oh my gosh, what is that? Charcoal. Oh, don't want charcoal on there. I'm just trying to find the black. Oh my gosh, that is black. That is a Creta Colour black. Look at that. That looks great, doesn't it? I just wanted to get the shape before I go in with oh, I can't really see what I'm doing. Actually, it's got quite dark in here. I can't really see because the light is causing a shadow when I move a certain way, so I can't see where I'm placing it. This is what I didn't want to be doing. That's why I went over with black. I really didn't want to be having to mess around with the shape of my Avo. I just wanted to play around with the colour, but it didn't really work. I suppose they do have little dents in them. I'm just going to leave it. Okay, back in with this 912 by Sennelier and kind of scuffling it over the paper. And of course, rubbing it in a bit. Now, I'm going to take my 179 and also bring it down around here. I think we need more black. Can't be with that tiny little crumb. It's proving to be a little bit too challenging. That's a black, that's dark. I think this is a black. Yeah, here we go. This is just a piece of new pastel black. It's pretty dark here. So I think let's just make that really dark in here. Something's dirty on my finger. Well, yes. Yes, it is, Candace. It is dirty. And just scuffle in a little bit of this 179. Making sort of little dotty marks. Again, thinking about the texture. Of the avo. This line's very fat. I hope I can get that nice and thin. Some pastel, just making the shape look a little bit funny. Okay. I think the background isn't quite dark enough. This avo is looking so dark, but the background needs to be darker, I think. Definitely here. Sometimes you can get your subject in a little bit more and it will help you see what corrections you need to make in your background. Just scuffling this black over there and gently touching it. Like I'm hardly touching the paper kind of thing. Here I'm using a lot more pressure now. I've done the same thing again. I've made this strange outline. I don't know why I keep doing that. It's like this strange outline, which I don't really want. Okay, I just needed a bit of a rub in. A little bit more of a rub in. Now we can go back over with the black. I don't have a black enough pastel pencil, but I like using the pastel pencil because I think this is black. I know it is the black. Just doesn't. It's not black enough. It's not black enough. Let's see if this one is. No, that's not black enough. It looks like dark grey. All right, back with this little new pastel. It's so funny. I thought, oh, this is going to be easy. I'll just bang this one out. And look, I'm fiddling with the shape so much here. So, yeah. I thought, oh, this will be easy, no problem. Let's just quickly do this. This avo, and I'm like struggling here a little bit with getting it to look right. It's funny when a painting does that. You end up working on a part of the painting. It's in the shape of this avo. I tried so hard to keep, but it didn't go to plan. Anyway, back in with this 912 around here. I'm thinking about the shape, the texture of the skin. So I'm dotting that a little bit. Hopefully it will make a little bit more sense when we do come in with the highlights. Okay. All right. Right. Let's take... Actually, I need to go wash my hands because I'm going to take this. Actually, let's use this dark green for now. Oh, please say you've got a nice sharp. Yeah, it's sharp as it. Fine. Probably needs to be a bit dark, I imagine. So this is now the rim of the Yavo. Needs to be a bit darker. We need a black. Need a good black though. Creta Colour black's terrible. It's more like a dark grey sort of colour. Brunziel's quite good. Here's a Brunziel. Just on the very edge. I don't like that either. Taking a little sharp piece of pastel. I'm actually just going to use that. Like I said, I got a bit fat down here, but I'm hoping I can fix that line. This isn't going to be the colour of the pip, but I'm just wanting to get that shape in there. There we go, like so. Put a little bit of Art Guard on by Winsor & Newton. It's a barrier cream. So just when you're working with pastels, good idea. I don't like the feeling of having pastel on my skin. It dries out my skin, but at the same time I hate using gloves. Just bringing in a little bit closer. My printer is on the blink. I've got two printers. One I print all my prints on, so it's proper archival pigment ink, and the other one is just a normal printer, but that one's on the blink, and I use that for my work when it's like this, for reference photo and stuff. Okay, so what I'm doing here, oh, I don't know, I forgot that little nookie over there. So this color is awesome. It's called Chinese Green from Caran Dache, and I just want to kind of map out this bright color, and it was more around the top here, kind of fades a bit over there. But that's what attracted me to this whole picture, was that beautiful color. And so, sorry, everything's dying today. My computer screen's died, and I've just got to get the... So if you haven't watched one of my tutorials before, so I have a tablet that I work from, and I have that down below here on my left, plus I have a printout to look at the shapes. So I use the printout for the shapes, the tablet for the color, and sometimes I mix the two. Okay, where do we want to go from here? I think this little Ava, I need to do a little bit more work on him before I'm satisfied and happy with how he's looking. So what I've gone into is my little box of Sennelier greens. So I have no idea what color or number this is, and I just decided to pick this one up because it's dark, but it's got a bit more of a yellow in it, which is what I am wanting. And again, to kind of create this texture on the Avo. We call them Avos in South Africa. Over here in England, when I started to say, can I have some Avo? people would know what I was talking about. But to say avocado pear takes a long time, you know, so we just shorten it to say avo. But they didn't understand. They do say avocado. But now when I ask my husband avo, he knows exactly what I'm talking about. But it's funny because avo seems like such an obvious thing to know what it is because it's the beginning of avocado pear. But yep, it confuses quite a lot of people. I don't know what they say in the States. If you say avo, or if you say avocado. Anyway. I think I want to put a little bit more. I know it's very dark in the reference photo, this section, but I think I want to put a bit more of a greeny hint down in here. I'm feeling like, yeah, it needs a bit, oh, and those are wrong. So I'm using a little sharp point that I can find, but sometimes it makes a line instead of a circular kind of shape, and I'm definitely wanting more of a circular shape, because if you look at the texture of the skin of the avo, it's like little dents, isn't it? So just bringing in a bit more of that green down there. I think let's dotty it up in here. Okay, and down in here. Now, before I work completely on this, I've got to get the table in. I just want to kind of play around here with these greens and kind of get this avo to a place I'm happy with. So I'm going to take another green here, also a forest green. This is 913. So we've used 912. Now this one is a little bit lighter and it's still Sennelier and it's 913. And I'm just patting over that. So I want to keep that texture, so I'm just patting rather than rubbing in now. This barrier cream, I've been using it for since I started. So what, 3.5 years? And I've never had a problem on a painting. I suppose we'll know, you know, my very first pastel paintings I did using proper nice archival pastels, which were Unison and Sennelier actually. They're 179 I've been using forever, because you just can't find a green like that in the Unison range. But so for 3.5 years the colors are exactly the same as when I first laid them down, and so the barrier cream so far doesn't seem to be causing any issues with longevity. But like I said, that's so far. I think these little marks I'm making, they're a little bit small, but that's okay because I'm going to go in between because I want to build these up a little bit. And I'm going to go in between with some dark too, and hopefully they won't look as small. I think this is, do you call them a Haas avo? You get different avo varieties, and I think you can always tell by the skin, and I think this one in here, the Haas avo seem to have a far more textured skin. Oh no, lost the black. Than the other variety. I think the other variety starts with an F. Can't remember the name exactly. We grow avocados in South Africa, just by the way. So where my cousin lives up in Mpumalanga, which is the northeast of the country, they grow avos like this size. Wait, can you see? Massive, massive avos. So we've been eating avo. We're very lucky. We were brought up on avo, basically. It's like a staple. I've never met a South African who doesn't like avo. I'm sure they exist, but we all love it. And I remember when I came here, my husband, you know, we were just dating at the time, you know, we would put Avo on our pizza, and he would always use half an Avo and put the other half in the fridge. And I was like, what are you doing? That's such a waste. You know, you got to eat the whole Avo in one go. None of this saving it for tomorrow. It will not be as nice. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God, he's wasting a whole Avo. What we would do is we would just take a spoon and we would just eat the other Avo, put some salt and pepper on it, and off we go, eating our Avo. Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know what black this is that I've got. I wonder if it's a Giraud. But it's quite soft, and it keeps breaking on me. Let's go back in with my 912 Forest Green from Sennelier. I'm trying to not have too many small dots, but trying to also get a few. There is some like longer, if you look, like long texture, sort of moving in like a downward shape. So I'm just trying to put a little bit of that in there too. And then just taking my finger and pressing the pigment in. And then let's go in with our lighter 913. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do that. You're probably saying, why did I do all those dots? Well, I'm just feeling my way into this Avo, aren't I? I'm just seeing what works, but looking, there's bigger shapes in here than what I was initially laying down. I'll do the dots, I think, with the highlight. That's what I'm trying to say. Just skimming this along like so. This is the light section. In here, down here. Okay. Then that is all dark again. I'm not liking this still. It's too much of an outline. Sorry, I just bashed the camera there. Too much of an outline going on here. So I'm actually going to take this green and scuffle on the outline like that, just to tone it down a bit there. Oh, that's my printer giving me heart failure. Then I'm going to take a bit more of my 179 and just add a bit of that in here, because we got shadow here. And in between, you can see a bit more up here. Pat that all in. Okay, now shall we see if we've done enough groundwork? I'm trying to decide with the highlights. I actually took out these two colors. I don't know because if you look in the pip, you can see some of these mauvey sort of colors, very muted. So I thought for the highlights, let's do a little bit of this color, because I'm going to bring this into the pip. So this is a Unison. As I said, it's an additional color. I don't know the exact code, but it's in the 20s, somewhere in the 20s. I can't remember. I haven't used this color for quite a while. But I'm just now going to add a bit of that for the highlight. And we've also got, this has got more mauve in it. This is A32. Just wanted to see now if this makes a bit of a difference or not, or if they're very, very similar. And I think we actually need to grab a minty green sort of color. I've got two here that are very similar. They look identical. We've got, I think this one's a bit more minty. Green 24, I think has a little bit more blue in it. You probably can't see it on the screen. But I think, yeah, definitely. When you draw it out, this has definitely got, this is more of a mint. So let's actually put in a little bit of mint. And especially like in here, where it is definitely lighter, where all the color is, where the highlight is actually falling onto the abo. Then these little ones aren't quite as bright. Let's again not get too excited, just here is quite light, but you can see other color underneath. So I think we need now, I'm going to take, shall I try this green 19? It's more like an emeraldy green, because you can see a little bit of that around here where the light is hitting. It's like a emeraldy sort of green, especially on these parts. And again, that could just be due to the photography, and if I was painting live, it may not look quite like this. But hey, I like the idea of adding a bit more of a bluiness. Now we need to go back in with a dark in between where I've gone with the light. Now I wonder, I'm just going to take the black. So this is me now going back in around the highlight. Because these bumps, you know, they're going to have a valley and a ridge. So where the light is hitting, if it's like this, the light will be lightest here, and then it goes dark here and here on either side. So I'm kind of creating that, the texture of the skin. It's taking a little bit longer than I anticipated. But it has to be right, doesn't it? Like, you have to be happy with what you've done. And if a painting looks unfinished, then it, you know, you need to work on it. So it gets to a point where you're happy, where you feel, oh, that's finished. And with this sky, I'm not. I'm like, Right, now I'm going to go back in with my light green 24. It's fun. I love using colors I don't use. You know, it's nice to have a look at your palette and see what colors are still in their full stick form like this. And then you know, oh, I don't use this one. Where can I use this? Okay, there's just a few. So one at the top's too bright. So let's just smush them in a little bit. And these ones, I suppose. So the light's definitely hitting here. Need to go back in with our 913, which is lighter. It's the lightest dark green we've used so far. And I just need to go back over there with that. And I think we need to get a color in between this minty green and this color I've got at the moment. So something a bit light, what is this strange green 9? Let's have a look. It's also quite light, but it's also a very good green for Avo. It's also Unison colour that I hardly use, as you can see, by still being in its full stick form. Yeah, that's good. You may have to do this several times, building up your dark, your light, your dark, your light, till you get it to a place that you are happy with it. Okay. Feel like I'm going to take this dark green and just darken up again in between here, in between the highlight again, and here. Okay, let's not get too excited and mess it all up, but I just do need to then bring in again some of these highlighty bits, especially in this area. It seems to be right where the light is shining, but it is still catching on some of the ridges around. Like here, actually I'm going to take this other green 9 down here. Okay, I may come back to that, but I think for now let's move on to this part of the Avo, and then we'll go on to the pip. Now that is, I mean, that is a luminous yellow, I mean green around there. Oh, look at this, look what I just found. Oh, poop, I have no idea what number it is. It's a Unison, but it's like, it's green. So I'm going around the edges. Need to make this a bit thinner there. Don't take a dirty finger like that when we're working this part of the painting. Don't do that. But I'll try and fix this shape here, because I've gone over now. I didn't want to do that, did I? So let's take a pastel pencil. Got to fix the shape. I think that's a good idea. Let's see this green. Nah, it's going to be dull in comparison. Let's go back with this one. I mean, you can't get the saturation you get with pastel sticks. But this is quite good. Chinese green. Remember, it's very light here. Using the pastels pencil, it won't fill the tooth of the paper as quickly, so you give yourself some leeway, which is good. And if you work like me, always appreciated. case I make mistakes, which I often do. Okay, so we have got, I'm just missing an incredible yellow somewhere. Let's have a look at this color. Green 34, and it's by Unison. And I'm just adding that more into this sort of shadowy part, because it's bright, but it's still got a dullness to it, where this is like luminous. So let's add that in here. Okay. That color I've just put down is green 29 from Unison, and I'm coming over. I actually think this is a Jack Richardson, and it's more spring green, I suppose. But we actually, I'm just looking at my, oh, look what I've done. I brought some of that black from the base into there, which I definitely did not want to be doing. Oh man, I know, we'll go over that, be fine. Okay, so it's the second day I've come back to this after being away for a day, and I'm going to add a little bit of yellow into here. So this is yellow 10. I'm thinking there's like a darkish rim if you look. I need to come back in with green as well. But around here, you can see like bits of more yellow. So I think I'm going to add that in. It's quite a good color really. It's yellow 10. Then we need to go back in with this vibrant green. I'm sorry, I don't know what the color, the actual, it doesn't have a paper on it, so I don't know what color it actually is. But it is a Unison green. I mean, because that is like, it's luminous green in the photo, and you know, avos can have that beautiful green. They can be quite luminous looking. So this green goes all the way around. I'm moving quite quickly, and I'm kind of, my hand is going quicker than my brain. My brain is kind of saying, you need to slow down a little bit, but my hand's going, no, just get it in there. But I do need to slow down a little bit here. Okay. That is a good green, but we've lost a little bit of it around this way. So I'm just going to put it back in over there. A little bit more of the yellow around here. This is the yellow 10 from Unison that I used. Now we need a light yellow, and I'm thinking of putting this as like a buttermilky color. It's like yellow 12 from Unison. Just making sure it's clean and doesn't have any other colors on it. May need something with a little bit more yellow, but I just want to see how it's going to sit when I rub it in. Yeah, I actually need something with a bit more yellow in it. This is yellow 4, also Unison. I've just pulled out my yellow tray. Yeah, that's got a bit more yellow to it. This is going to be bright, almost white over here. So I don't want to go. And there is like maybe a little bit more of this green up in there. Let me just see. A bit more of this yellow, I think, actually. A bit more of this. Bring that a bit around here. Gonna go back in with that very pale. Actually, let's see this color. This is yellow 6 for these bright parts here. Now I'm gonna go even brighter. Let's get a little bit of that down. Again, the yellows aren't colors I use a lot of. So again, it's fun to come in and use a bit more. And I think I'm going to try this pastel pencil golden ochre. No, that's too, I need something more on the yellow side. Yeah, this golden bismuth yellow. And I'm just going to see how that sits for a little bit of variation around here. Kind of going over where I put that yellow, pressing quite hard. I'm going to put a little bit of that here. I also feel like I need to vary this green a little bit. The green is too solid, so it's looking a bit strange. And for that, I'm gonna probably mix these two. I've got my Carbethello number 570 and 575. Let's go in with the darker one for now, around here. I'm actually really enjoying creating this avocado pear. It's fun. I'm really enjoying it. And I'm going to take this brighter green and also just put a little bit of that here and there. Especially up in here. Then what we need is like an ochre sort of color. Well, something a bit more russety, like a dark sienna. This is called medium russet, and it is also a Caran Dache. Sorry, the others weren't Caran Dache. The others were Carbethello. And here's a little Faber-Castell because it's got kind of like darker. No, sometimes you don't want a stringy avo. Hate stringy avos, freak me out. But this one's not really stringy, it's just got a little bit over there. I'm just gonna add a little bit of this in here too, like that. And around here. Right. I'll take my black now and see how this. I'm not drawing a straight line. I'm kind of wobbling it a little bit because, again, this avo, the skin is quite wobbly. It's not super smooth. You know, it's very textured. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm going to put a little bit of this green down in here. Screen 19 from Unison. Like I said, if this was set up straight in front of me, oh, bless me. If this was set up straight in front of me, you would see a lot more color in here. So I'm imagining what I would see a little bit, because I think it's just a bit too black and I don't think it does the painting any favors. So that's why I'm adding a little bit of greens. And I'm going to take this forest green, I think it was the 912 from Sennelier, same greens that we used in this avo, just bringing a little bit of that in there too. We may need to do more here, I'm not sure. Well, I'll come back to that. Okay, now for the peppy part, I straight away was like, oh, let me get some of my red earths. This is Red Earth 6 from Unison. And I'm gonna, yeah, that's a good color. That is a good color for here. I'm just going to put some of that in there, and then it goes actually like a darker purple. Let's just smooth it out a bit so we can build some layers on there. So for that dark purpley in the back, I wonder if this might be a bit, I don't know, this is a Terry Ludwig. Let's just put a bit of him in there. Bit of him down here. Oops, it's kind of not really making the marks I'm wanting, but let's, and a little bit here. Okay, we need a bit more up there. Now maybe this red's a bit more even vibrant down in here. This is also Terry Ludwig, just for a little bit more vibrancy. This red's beautiful. It's nearly, I've got 2 crumbs this size left from the Terry Ludwig Dark Intense 2 range. That's all I've got left. Makes me so sad. Just having a look, if you look down you can see the end of the pip here, so I'm just gonna feather that out a bit like that, then go in with some russet. Trying to find my wet wipes so I can wipe my hands, because they get to a point where they've got too much pastel and they start, oh here they are. Oh, you got too much pastel and they start bothering me. Actually, and then I just saw this. I've got my little Rembrandt's half sticks right here next to me on my right hand side, and I just saw this color and I thought, oh, you know what, let's just put that in, because it's going to give off more, oh no, see what I've done, it's going to give off more pigment than the pastel pencil, but I may use the pastel pencil to just push that pigment that I've laid down now in place. I'm just cleaning my hands quickly because I definitely did not want that. Let me finish working on this and then I'll come back in. And then I can see like a golden ochre color around, and I've got that in there. Also Caran Dache. Kind of around it. Let's see. There's also another little piece of Rembrandt half stick, just to lay down a little bit more color. I'm going to feather that in. Back in with the russet. Back in with the yellow ochre. Then around that you've got, this might be too light. Let me see if I want to use this for that. No, that's quite good. So this is A32 from Unison. And it's a good color actually, and I'm scuffling that over the top. I'm just seeing, do I have enough depth underneath before I start putting this on top? You know, so this is red 1. I'm adding a bit of that in here. Because it's quite red over here where the light is shining, and then there's parts here too. Okay, this needs to be, I'm going to bring that Terry Ludwig purple I used, if I can remember which one it was. I think it was this one. One of these colors is so beautiful, but if you put it on the pastel paper, it leaves like a copper pigment that's all gritty on the paper. I tried to do a tutorial ages ago, and I used the color in the background, and it completely messed up my background because I used a lot of it. That was my main color. So I tend to forget which one it is, but it's a dark purple. I think it's this one. So I'm just using it in little spots here and there. Because definitely don't want to get a grain, like a grit all over. It's not what I'm after. So I don't use this very often. As you can see, it's like a full stick still. Alright, just making sure I've got that dark in. I'm going to go back over with my RE6 from Unison. Just dot a bit of that, and then we'll go over with that purple, the A32 from Unison. Again, a color I don't often use, but yay, it works nicely with this one. I'm literally skimming the paper with this. I am not pressing hard at all. I need a bit more red here. I've lost a bit of the red. Put that up in there. I'm going to take my golden ochre, it's not doing much. You're probably wondering, why am I even bothering? But I'm going to take this purple, this is A35, for the shadowy part here. It's a bit darker here. I'm back with my A32 for this part. And up here. Trying to get a good line. I'll soften that out. think I actually want to use pastel pencil to correct the shape. I'm going to try this one by Caran Dache. It is called Light Ultramarine Violet, because can you see it's all a bit wonky, but these pips aren't. They are smooth. There's no wonk, but it's a bit too wonky here. So I'm just wanting to correct the shape. Maybe add in a little bit. Now it is darker this side, so what color shall I use? This one, dark carmine, to just fix this shape along here, like so. That looks better, doesn't it? Need to come in with something darker. I've got black. No, that's messed it up again, hasn't it? Maybe like that's just better. I'm going to take my little Terry Ludwig beautiful vibrant red from the Intense Dark 2, and just I want to put a bit more of that here and here, and I'll dot it around a bit there and just scuffle it in a little bit. Do need something dark. I'm going to try the black. Maybe actually let's go with the dark brown rather. 177 from Faber-Castell. And I'll come back over with my A35 to kind of soften out that dark line a bit, like that. Again, we don't have a red that's dark enough, but the payoff from my dark carmine, it's even called, just isn't very good. I just feel like it needs to be a bit dark around here. But I didn't like the black. Maybe this will be fine. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, I am gonna add a little bit of more of this over here. Again, I'm scumbling. So just shimmering that along like so. All right, now let's fix up. Actually, I need a bit more dark, and here's really dark. So I'm going to take this other dark Terry Ludwig and put him there. And a little bit up here too. Then back in with my bright red, or brighter Terry Ludwig, and go there. Okie Minoki. I just want to define this little russet thing here a little bit more. Needs to be a bit darker. This color isn't dark enough. What about this? This is a little Rembrandt from my, there we go, from my Rembrandt half sticks. Now, what do I need to do? I need to not breathe so I don't mess this all up. Okay, so I'm going to take my yellow 6. I'm going to go right here. That worked quite nicely. Now I'm going to see, I've got a lemon yellow, lemon highlight from Art Spectrum, from their little highlights box of 10. These are quite useful. And I just want to see what happens. Bearing in mind, I am pressing, I'm laying purposefully quite a bit of pigment down. I'm not being light-handed with this. This section I am, because I don't want to cock up like I did there. But that's easy to fix, because what we'll do is we'll take a little tortillon, little paper stump, clean it off a little bit on a piece of paper, or if you've got sandpaper, and I'm just going to rub that away like that. I think I want a bit more yellow up in here. So I've got my yellow 10. And I want to smudge this a little bit in. Like so. Okay. Let's work on the table. Right, so the shadows are kind of just like all here, aren't they? It's creating a so this is just a black new pastel, just to get my shadow in, like so. Then we're going to go over. I'm going to try and use the same colours I've used for all the other little, I haven't recorded any of them. I think this is the first or second one I've recorded, I can't remember now. But I'm trying to get the table to be all the same, so it looks like a set, if you know what I mean. Because I'm doing 9 of these little still lives, and so I'm trying to use all the colours I used in the table, same colours. I've got to try and remember what they are. So this is just a new pastel, not a new pastel, Terry Ludwig. I use a little bit of this brown, I have no idea. I think it's a dark one by Unison. And I definitely have a BE18 from Unison, but I've got to go get, oh no, there it is. Yay, I thought I had to go find it, but I don't. Here it is, lovely. See, so it's got more of an oranginess to it. Really good colour for wood. Trying not to mess up. Okay, now this is even lighter. I'm just pulling things out now that from my, and throwing them in the bin. Oh no. Oh, and bashing the camera. Oh, I have to find that pastel. It's oh, here it is. That wasn't too bad actually. So this has got more of an oranginess to it. Now in the photo reference, it looks like it's more on a sack, like a textured cloth. I'm not doing that. I'm keeping it wood, so it goes with the other pieces I've done. This is how I build up my wood. I mean, some people go to town and their work is just stunning. I can't remember his name now on the top of my head, but oh, he was from a group that I belong to. It's called Artists. It's a Facebook group called Art for Older People or something like that. And he hadn't been painting for a long time, and then he did this piece like a bowl of lemons. Oh my word, his wood was extraordinary. It was so beautiful. But I'm just trying to get an effect of wood. I'm not creating that, otherwise it would take long, and I'm knocking these out. They're not going to be sold for very much, you know. They're just a little collection, so I really can't afford to be spending a large amount of time. But I still want it, you know, I don't want the table to let the painting down because I've done it so badly, you know. I still want it to look good, but I just can't go into all the detail. Yeah, it's still got to look good. That's kind of important, otherwise, yeah, that's not good either. Just adding, so that's all I'm doing. Adding my different browns, dark, light, mid-tone, dark, light, mid-tone, and just to get this wood effect. I think I want to come in with a little bit more. I wonder if I should add some green, like in this corner, just to, so I know it's there, because it's just a little piece of green that I've used in the actual pears as well. Just from, I don't know, it's just like, oh, I think I need to add that. So I did. And actually looking at the picture, I'm like, I think we need to put a bit more light in this section here, like so. Okay, clean our hands a little bit. And then there's this beautiful Sennelier, it's like a raw sienna color I've been using for the light in the table. It's really awesome. And I'm thinking, shall I use this color? Nah. But I don't know, I've got to go find it. Maybe it's right here. Yeah, it is. Yay! It was right there. I'm using this like raw sienna. See, so it's got quite a bit of yellow, dark yellow. Sienna, I find, tends to be, you know, like a yellowy, light-ish brown. Maybe we can add a little bit of that in there, like so. And sometimes if I make the grain of the wood too thick and it looks a little bit strange, like what I've done over here, you can see, like, it looks a little bit thick. I'm just going to take my Creta Colour browns, if I can find those. Oh yes, here they are. And I'll just take a brown and I'll go in between, like so. then it breaks up the fat lines a little bit. I may even come in with the darker one too. Is this darker? No, it's lighter. That's okay too. And I'm going to try to find a dark one that isn't black. Let's see if this one's darker. Yeah. Okay, and that, look how terribly this is printing. And that is our abo. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm just having another little looky and seeing, is there anything I want to change? I think this part needs to be dulled down a bit. So I need to take something and dull that off a little bit. Because there's a little bit of shadow on there. Maybe this color, purple. Let's have a look. So I mean, that green is still super green, but I think that's a bit better. Let's put our little bits back in there. And here, grab our russet, because these bits here are more like an orangey sort of color. Put them in down here. And I may just bring it a little bit over there as well. There we go. And there we have abo. No, actually, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, I don't like this shape here. I think I need to bring the yellow down a bit more here. It's too green. Need to widen the shape here. So that was the yellow 10 from Unison. Now I'm going over with my yellow 6. Make sure you've got a clean hand. You don't want to be putting dirt. And let's amp this up even a bit more here and here. Yep. That down a bit in there. Yes, there we go. Let's sign it while we're here, huh? So, can't even see that. Wonder if this... There we go. Ah, look at me. I'm like, no, I'm not happy with this. the edge here isn't good. So I'm taking black and just going over that edge. There we go. Got to watch those edges. And I'm thinking, is this edge too prominent? You know, it's a bit like, whoa, calm down edge. So I'm going to take this dark brown and just go over it. This dark brown is from Terry Ludwig. All right. And now it is done.